In this video, we will be going over the 7.1 notes, which will involve distance, midpoints, endpoints, and angles. For the first one, it says, find the distance between each pair of points. It is given on a graph for number 1, so I can just count how far down it goes. And then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what I would do is, because I created a triangle to find this distance, I'm going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 2 and 8 will go in for a and b. Then I'm going to enter it in to see what this equals. So we're going to have 2 squared plus 8 squared is 68. Square root it to find what c is by itself. And we're going to round it to 8.2. So that is the distance of the diagonal, 8.2. Problem 2, I count over 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. 3 squared plus 8 squared is 73. Square root it. Square root of 73 is 8.5. For the distance from this point to that point, it's 8.5. Now they give us 2 points, and they still want us to find the distance, but they are not graphed. So when I count them, sometimes it helps to draw or imagine a number line. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so here's my number line. If I want the distance from 2 to 0, I'd have to go left 2, so that'd be minus 2. In order to get 2 to go to negative 5, I'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 backwards. Those are basically like counting the sides of my triangle. When I enter them in, be really careful. I have to put parentheses squared around them when I enter it into my calculator, otherwise it'll make a mistake. So I do negative 2 squared plus negative 7 squared is 53. And then I square root it to get c by itself. Square root 53 is 7.3 for the distance from point A to point B. 6 to negative 6, I have to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so I have to left 12. Negative 8 to negative 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4 up. That means it's a positive 4. Negative 12 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. I don't have to worry about parentheses because it's not a negative. Plus 4 squared is 160. Square root that, and we get 12.6 for my distance. Find the midpoint of each line segment. To find the midpoint, I cut the line in half. So if my distance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half of 6 is 3, so I go 1, 2, 3. This is my midpoint, and I have to say where it's at. So from 0, 0, it's over 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over 2, down 5. Example 6, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what happens is instead of going over 6, up 7, I'm only going to go over 3, and then up 3.5. So I do half of the slope. My midpoint, from 0, 0, I go left 1, and then I go down a half. If you don't like fractions, you can write it as a decimal as well. You could pick. Find the midpoint. So to do this one, what we're going to do is find the distance by counting. So -3 to -2, you would have to add 1. From 1 to 9, you would have to add 8. So on your calculator, what you'll type is -3 plus 1, but you only want to go half of that distance. -3 plus 1, half the distance, is -2.5. Then you want to do 1 plus 8, but you don't want to go the full 8, you only want to go half of the distance to find the middle. So you'll enter in 1 plus 8, 1/2 of that, which would be 5. And that would be your midpoint. Four to 9, I would have to add 5. 0 to -4, I would have to minus 4. 4 plus 5, but I only want half of it. 4 plus 5, half, is 6.5. 0 minus 4, but I only want half of that 4, would be -2. For the midpoint. Find the endpoint. If this is an end and this is the middle, I need to find my second end. We're going to basically play leapfrog. 2 to -7 means I have to minus 9. So I'm going to minus 9 again. -7 minus 9 would be -16. 6 to -5, I'd have to subtract 11. And then to find that next point, I subtract 11 again, which would become -16. That was weird. Let's try it again. -6 to +3 means I have to add 6, 7, 8, 9. -6 plus 9 would give me 3. Add 9 again. 9, 10, 11, 12 is my x. 9 to -5, I have to subtract 16. I'm going to double check. 9 minus 16. Nope, that was wrong. 9 minus 14. There we go. 14. 9 minus 14 is -5. Minus 14 again is -19 for the end point. Now we're going over angles. You will need to be able to name them and solve. So on the first one, these ones would be named vertical. Vertical angles are straight across from each other and they'll be the same size. So then to solve, I would say 6x equals 60. Divide by 6 and x is equal to 10. Problem 12, I need to identify them. They are vertical. That means they are the same size, so I'd say 4x equals 48. Divide by 4 and x is equal to 12. 13, they're straight across from each other and the same size. They're identified as vertical. 42 equals 5x plus 2 minus 2. 40 equals 5x. Divide by 5 and x is 8. 14, they are vertical. Notice each time I write the definition, well, I identify it, not the definition. I write the vocabulary word, so I identify that it's vertical. 71 equals 5x plus 1 minus 1. 70 equals 5x. Divide by 5. 14 equals x. Then we have these markings in the center, which are little boxes. That means that it's 90 degrees, and that's called complementary. So I would say b plus 42 equals 90 degrees. Minus the 42. And we get 48 for that missing angle. Same thing, I see this little box, identify it as complementary. Complementary means that it will be equal to 90 degrees when I put them together. Minus 54. That missing angle is 36 degrees. I have the little box again. I label it as complementary. Now I solve it by saying 4x plus 6 plus 5x plus 3 equals 90 because of the little box. 4x and 5x make 9x. 679 plus 9 equals 90. Minus the 9. Divide. Wow, there are a lot of 9s in that problem. This one I check, I have this box right here. That means 90 degrees, which means these two together will also be 90. Complementary. 4x plus 30 together should make 90 degrees. Minus 30. Divide by 4. X is 15. The last angles that you will need to identify are when they make a line. They are called linear or supplementary. So they would add up to equal, a line is 180 degrees. Minus 129. On these ones I checked, together they make a line. That means they are linear or supplementary. So based off of this wording, I know that b plus 90 equals 180. I have these two angles. Together they make 180, so they are linear or supplementary. So I would say 1 plus 2x plus x plus 41 equals 180. I have 3 total x's plus 42 equals 180. Minus the 42, 3x is equal to 8. Divide by 3. Well, I made a mistake somewhere. That's why. Okay, and then I do divide by 3. X is equal to 46. These two together make a line, so they are identified as linear or supplementary, which means I would take both of these problems and say 5 plus 6x plus 61 equals 180 degrees because they're linear. That gives me 6x plus 66 equals 180 minus the 66. X is 19.